What is going on, my fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives, Make Money Online Trainer podcast. This is the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to grow a successful online business. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about this idea of stop wasting time and start getting more shit done. Now, a lot of online fitness coaches that are working on their business end up doing a lot of work, but never actually achieving anything. They end up doing a lot of work, but never actually getting anything done. And as a result, they feel like their business isn't growing. How many of you right now listening to this feel like even though you're putting in work to your business, it's not actually advancing? And my definition of advancing would be you're signing more clients, you're making more money, your social media is growing, you're getting a better understanding of content, you're getting better at your sales, etc. So many of us, when it comes to success and life in general, end up feeling like we're not making any progress because we end up getting distracted. Now, I'm going to give you guys two concepts that have massively helped me with how I spend my time. I want to share with you how I'm able to get more work done. And I want to give you the blueprint for how I get as much shit done as I do in a day. Like I'm posting 3 times a day. I'm going live 5 times a week. I'm leading 2 businesses. I'm going to teach you exactly how I do it in today's podcast episode to give you the unlock for the next level. Now, I first came across this concept by accident, and it happened because I was working at a summer camp and there was no access to the outside world. And there was no internet, there was no Wi-Fi, whatever. And so when I would sit down and I would work, I wasn't distracted. And so that really, like that concept over the course of that summer really allowed me to get a lot of really focused work done. It allowed me to get really good at running. It allowed me to get really good at writing. It allowed me to get really clear at my vision. As I came out of that summer camp, I decided to take that concept and apply it on a day-to-day basis. And I saw some massive changes. So that's how I discovered the first one that I'm going to talk about. The way that I discovered the second concept is I heard somebody say one time, eat the frog. And I thought that was such an interesting concept. And so I started doing it. And then I listened to a lot of success motivation, and I've heard this concept over and over and over again. So I decided I was going to experiment with myself a few years ago, and the results were amazing. So I'm going to give you guys the 2 concepts. I want you guys to write this in the chat. Concept number 1 is called deep work. Now, my definition of deep work is completely undistracted, focused work for a certain period of time. That's my definition of deep work. It's completely undistracted, 100% focused on one task for an extended period of time. Now, the way that I utilize deep work is I use it every day. And so there's certain tasks that I have to get done every day, whether that's writing the new sales course that I'm working on. By the way, if you're my client, I'm getting a new sales course for you guys, so stay fucking tuned. It's going to be awesome. So whether it's writing the new sales course, whether it's sitting down for an hour and writing scripts, whether it's batching my content and going with my videographer and filming, 10, 20 videos in an hour, whatever it is, I'm completely undistracted. And so here's how I use this concept is, let's say I've got an hour of content to do. I put my phone on airplane mode. I put some music on. I set a timer for an hour, and I do not stop working on the task until that timer goes off. That's my definition of deep work. And I truly do believe that because I spend time in deep work every day, I'm able to get more done in 1 hour than most people get done in 4 hours, because most people write a couple content scripts and then open up an Instagram message, and then their kid runs into the room, and then they forgot that they had to change the laundry, and then they go wash the dishes, and then they come back, and then they're unmotivated, and they got to get themselves back in the zone. And there's so much like wasted space. And here's the thing, right? Like our brains they like operate based on vibration. And so there's a certain frequency that your brain is at when you're working and you're working on a deep project. How many of you have ever felt the feeling where you're working on a project and you're just so immersed in it that it's almost like time just escapes and you're just fully invested in the task at hand? How many of you guys have ever felt like that? I call that flow state. And so to get into flow state with one task, once you're in flow state, like once I've written 2 or 3 scripts, writing the rest of them is really easy. I just sit there and I just get it done. However, getting into flow state is actually like, it can be difficult. And so if you spend, 20 minutes writing 2 scripts, then you get distracted and you go on social media and now you're scrolling Instagram, and then you get distracted and you send a couple DMs to people that are interested in booking a call. And then you're back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Like you'll never actually get into flow state, which is why you feel like even though you're putting in all this work, you're still not getting the return on your investment. Does that make sense? And this is how we work. Like this is how 99% of people work. And it's weird because I want you to imagine this, okay? Imagine going to the gym, doing 2 sets of leg press, then leaving for an hour, going to get a coffee at Starbucks, calling your mom, coming back, doing a squat, and then leaving, and then coming back an hour and a half later and doing 10 push-ups, and then calling that a workout, right? That we wouldn't fucking do that. And we're personal trainers, so we understand that concept. But for some reason, we do that with our work. And so it's really simple, okay? Deep work. And the way that you guys can operate with deep work is to use what I call time blocking. And so time blocking means throughout certain parts of the day, it's like I do this shit no matter what. And so it's like there's certain things in my day that get done no matter what. And so I schedule it into my calendar. And if I have an hour of content, then I turn my phone on airplane mode. I listen to music. I write content for an hour and I'm completely undistracted. I promise you, if you start doing this deep work shit, like it's going to make a massive shift in how much progress you're able to make in a shorter period of time. So that's concept number one. Is this making sense? Concept number two is called eat the frog. All right. So concept number two is called eat the frog. Now, with eat the frog, what this means is like all of us have something in our life that we know that we should be doing that we're not doing because it's like, it's just not urgent. And so if it's not urgent and we don't need to do it right now, what we end up doing with major tasks is we end up not fucking doing the thing that we need to do. And I did this for a long time with a lot of things. And so whenever I have a major project that I'm working on or a major skill that I want to develop, I have this concept called eat the frog. Now, eat the frog basically means we do the worst task or the one that we don't want to do or the one that's the most hard or the most time consuming right when we get out of bed. It's the first task that we tackle on our to-do list for that day. And for two reasons. One is when we get out of bed is when we're the most fresh. So get out of bed, do your morning ritual, bam, into that task. That's when you're going to be the most fresh. That's when you're going to be the most sharp because you're just like, your mind is clear. So that's number one. And number two is if we don't do this task first, we end up putting it off until later. And so whenever I have an event speech that I need to write, which I'm getting close to the event speech writing, like PT Domination event is like in 3 weeks from now, I need to write my speech for the event. And I also have 2 businesses that I'm running. And so if I just get into my day and I start running my businesses, like there's no way that I'll make time to write these speeches. And so what I do is in the morning, before I start anything, I sit down for an hour and I write my speech. Now, I'm also taking this concept and applying it to boxing. So for those of you guys that have been following my story, I've been talking about wanting to box for probably the last like 5 years, and I've never actually taken any action. And so I decided I was going to use my concept, eat the frog, to get into boxing. And so I wake up every morning, I do my ice bath, my run, my meditation. And right after I'm done that, I do 45 minutes of boxing. And my coach comes to my house and we just box in my garage. And the reason I do boxing before the gym is I fucking love the gym. And so I wouldn't skip the gym even if I was tired, right? So I know that if I do boxing first, that I will go to the gym because I love going to the gym. It's easy for me to go to the gym. And so I do the hardest task to start my day, the one that I don't want to do the most. I start my day with that. And then the rest of my day is easy because the rest of my day is shit that I actually like to do. And so I use this concept called eat the frog to help me learn new skills, to help me move major projects forward. And this is especially like if you're an online fitness coach and you know that you need to work on your content, like using this concept, 1 hour of deep work in the morning before you even start the day. And you're just like 100% focused on upgrading your content. You're 100% focused on doing content research. You're 100% focused on analyzing your own content. You're 100% focused on learning from other people. Like you are going to progress so much faster than 99% of people because 99% of people either number one, they never actually do the thing that's going to move their business forward. Like they never actually study the content that's going to move their business forward. Or number two, they do study the content that's going to move their business forward, but they're fucking studying it like a squirrel. Like they study it for 5 minutes and then they get distracted and then they go over here and then they study it for 5 minutes, they get distracted, they go over here. Sit down, lock yourself in a room, turn on fucking airplane mode and just focus on the task at hand. All right. So guys, these are the 2 concepts that have helped me absolutely massively when it comes to my productivity and being able to get more work done in a shorter period of time. Like I'm a busy mother trucker, you guys. I'm a busy mother trucker. Like I'm running my gym. I'm running PT Domination. I also want to learn some new skills like boxing. I also don't want to be fat, so I need to work out. Like there's a lot of things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And the way that I'm able to do these things, the way that I'm able to stay consistent with these things is I'm very meticulous with my time. And if I'm focusing on one task, that is the only thing that I'm focusing on. And when I wake up in the morning, like I do the thing that I don't want to do first. And so if there's a project that I need to work on that I've been avoiding, I do it. If there's a speech that I need to write, I do it. If there's like boxing that I want to learn, I do it. So I tackle the hardest / the most important task in the morning before I start my day, because I know that once I get into my workday, I'm going to make a bunch of excuses for why I can't get this stuff done. That is it. That is all. I hope you guys have the best day of your entire lives. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you guys got value from today's episode, you can get more from Change Lives, Make Money Online Training Podcast on Apple, Spotify, iTunes. Also, if you did get value, a way that you can support the podcast is just leave me a review on the show. I get a lot of DMs from you guys on a day-to-day basis saying that you listen to the podcast. So it would mean the world to me. I'm getting about 5,000 people download every episode. It would mean the world to me if you left me a rating on the podcast. Peace, love, and protein. Have the best day ever. Talk to you guys in the next episode. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.